5-minute countdown. Desktop for now. Hopefully I don't forget to unmute it when I need it. Sometimes I do that. I bet it's because it's all carrying over from the last one I did for Testaments. This is what I mean by the chatbot stuff just seems like it carries over the changes you make in it from one theme to another, and it doesn't always work well for the theme I'm looking for. Alright, let me try to change the text on here so you can understand it. Hopefully in both places. Over on Testaments, it was too gray. I'll try like a pure white. Okay, I think that looks good. Got 2 minutes. Put that there on pause. Just go to the link right next to it. I really should go get some coffee. Although I think I have to make a new pot. Not sure. I had some this morning. I don't think there's enough for a full cup this morning. But I don't think a minute and 16 seconds is enough time for me to make a pot or get a cup, even if there is enough. I was supposed to do this on Sunday, but I was camping Sunday, so I could not do that because Monday is not an ideal day because I have to take my kid to class twice, plus my friend is getting rides for me. So a lot of my day is covered up, but right now I have a little bit less work to do, so a little bit a lot. Alright, so this is Venus Brown. I am back with another live after watch for Deadloch Season 2. This is episode 2 called None of Your Business. And when I watched it and recorded my reaction, I remember saying that title definitely sounds like something that Eddie would do or say. But it wasn't Eddie this time. It was here, I'll do my gist. It was none of your business. Because every step of the way, the questions in the investigations, the people that were answering them were all like, it's none of your business. No matter what it was, no matter who they were talking about, every step of the way. They asked people questions and they'd be like, it's none of your business. Even though it actually is their business. Like, they're trying to investigate this thing. Okay. Anyway, so today I already gave you the gist of the episode. It's the none of your business episode. They're trying to investigate, and nobody really wants to give them any information. They just keep saying it's none of your business and giving them like barely anything to go on. They still manage, but it's irritating. I would have definitely called them out on it. Like, you're investigators, we're investigating this. If you want to find out what happened, then I need actual answers. Not, it's none of your business. But anyway, I'm going to air a clip because we are getting Abby back from season 1. So I'm going to show a little clip from Abby. Then I will go over a breakdown of some of the things that happened during the episode. Then I'm going to show another clip of a couple of the guest stars on the show this season. And then I'll go through my favorites and least favorites and all of that. And I think that is it. Okay, so clip of Abby. Let's go ahead and get this to the right page. Oh yeah, I gotta turn the desktop volume back on or you won't hear anything from it. Well, you might, because I think my speakers are on, so it might play through. You know what? I better shut off my mic while this is playing. So I'm gonna need to remember to turn my mic back off after the clip plays. So hopefully I'll remember.
I'm paired with Toby the cadaver dog because according to the office manager, Diane, we're in the same pay bracket.
Yeah, well, I'd get him away from the water, big ice. He's in the lunch position there.
The lunch position, man? Oh, shivers. Toby, come on. Toby, here, boy. Toby, come on. Toby, good boy. Isn't he so cute?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all supposed to be on the backpacker case, but our boss, the prof, sent us here for the day. But I don't mind because I'm back with my work mums.
So, Abby, I was wondering...
Nope.
Oh, no, sorry, I wasn't going to do that.
Oh, you...
happening?
No, that's good,
Oh, you didn't want to...
No, that's
okay,
good.
cool.
That's...
Okay, how is this investigation going?
Hey, did you hear that? That's not a spacecraft.
I assure you, I did not think it was.
It's that hover...
Run! Eddie, leave it!
No, it knows stuff. All right, I want to talk about Sunday night at the pub.
All right, let me go back to the live scene. Okay, so when Eddie saw the drone and said he had to go after it because she said it was said she had to go after it because it knows stuff. I was like, not really. The people running it know stuff. I did not like. It didn't even occur to me that it could be saving photos on there. Like, I just assumed that it would have a camera that's linked to somebody else's system and they would have it wherever they are looking at whatever the drone is doing. I didn't even occur to me that the drone would actually have files on it. But it did. It had files on it. Alright. So, let's see. So, as the investigation begins, as the investigation gets going, Radcliffe mourns and tries to figure out what happened with her alligator, or with her crocodile. I keep saying alligator sometimes. So we got gators here in Florida, but it's actually crocodiles. Not the same thing. Mourning the crocodile at first because she thinks that the crocodile has been killed, was murdered. She thinks that was the crocodile at the beginning of the series that had somebody's arm in its mouth. But that was not the croc. But she finds out later when she talks to her dad, and her dad's looking at the picture and he's like, that's not Triple X. That, look, he's like, look at the wounds. The wounds aren't right. That can't be Triple X. So Eddie finds out that Triple X might not be dead, but he's still missing, and she wants to know where the hell he is. So she makes trying to find out what happened with Triple X part of the investigation, which Dulcie doesn't seem to appreciate at first. But then eventually, I think it needs to be part of the investigation. I think it's all linked, which we'll see at the end that it probably is all linked. And then kind of like on the first season where Eddie comes to this cold, dreary place he's not used to. He's dressed all wrong. He doesn't, like, people are trying to give him advice on like not dressing, because he was in his summer gear, like the moisture wicking shirt, the not jams, the like knee-length cargo shorts and stuff like that when he got there. So now Eddie is giving Dulcie advice, like, what the heck are you wearing? You are in a hot, sweaty environment. You need to get this moisture-wicking shirt on, some nice shorts, something that can breathe, so that you're not sweating your ass off the whole time. Alright, then the autopsy comes in, and the guy that is trying to print out the autopsy report, he just keeps on going on about how they're just waiting for the autopsy to print out. And they finally get it, and it has like one, maybe two lines at the most with barely any information. It's very, very incomplete autopsy. So they're like going on barely any information, and they need to try to figure out what the heck actually happened, get a better autopsy in. So how do they get more information? Eventually we have Abby come in. So I showed that clip. Abby's going to come in along with the other two. It sounds like they're in a university program as interns or something like that, which I'm very glad that she got back into the university to go back to the forensics program. I think that's very important for her. And I'm glad that she is back on the team. That's fucking excellent. But they're going to be working on the case, and Eddie decides, let's let this the journalist help out, and Dulcie does not want anything to do with it. Dulcie's like, no, this is a journo. She is not supposed to be helping with the case. But Eddie's like, we need hands. We need extra help. And right now, it's just me and you. Like, we need extra help. So Eddie does use the journalist, and I'll show you a clip a little later that talks about how the journalist is like a little too wanting to help. And and it does seem that way. Wanting to help, I kind of recognize her character in a lot of the people that I know. So yeah, she definitely reminds me of some of the people that I know personally in my own circle. Anyway, let's see. Oh, there was other stuff that happened too. I know Eddie tries to get the footage off that drone, and the park ranger ends up going with Eddie to try to figure out some stuff, and they find a foot. So even though they don't have a good conclusive forensic report, they do go ahead and get people together and things together to try to piece together information better, since like 2 sentences that they had, like I think they said that the limb was cut with a freaking knife, basically a blade that has a handle or something like that, and that was basically it. That was it. So they're doing what they can to piece together the forensic information. One interview after another gets them pretty much nowhere, because every single one of them, like I said, they're saying it's none of your business. They ask you a question, they'll answer like a little teeny bit, and then they'll scream that it's none of their business, and they'll get almost nowhere. But as they go along, they still find out bits of information. So like Dulcie finds out that there was this big party and there was a fight during the party. She finds out that it was Troy that actually had drawn the penis on the billboard in the first episode. And she goes to talk to Troy, and I think it's Troy's brother, I'm not sure, but I think it's his brother or something like that, finds out that their dad had gotten into a fight they got into a fight with their dad because their dad had freaking fed shellfish to their mom's husband, who's allergic, and he had a freaking allergic reaction. His throat closed off and he had to go to the hospital. So she found out about that, and they thought that after their fight, like somehow because of whatever happened, that like this big chain of events must have caused their dad to get killed by an alligator or by a crocodile that had gotten loose in the water or whatever the week before or something like that. And because they were saying this, they're like, these guys don't actually know how their dad was killed, so they're obviously not the killers. They had no clue. They really were legitimately thinking that the gator got loose, that the gator ended up chopping him down or whatever, and all this other shit happened because they were just loosely putting shit together from their from their frantic state that they were in. What else? See, I had these in number order, but then I forgot to number the rest. Just hold on, let me see to try to number these. It'll just be easier for me to go through them if I do that. Alright. So, Abby comes back, so they get more help with that. And while Abby is trying to finish up with the evidence at this, I can't remember what they called it, but it was basically a separate place that the dad had been staying in. Toby goes and Toby finds this toe. The toe is evidence, but Toby ends up eating the evidence. And then Dulcie, so this is funny because Dulcie and Kath both end up getting like wrapped up in this trip to this freaking gator theme park or whatever. Dulcie is there to get questions answered as a police officer, but they make her pay for tickets anyway. Kath, she ends up agreeing to give these kids a drink. The drink turns out to be at this theme park. So the kids are like, yeah, she's gonna take all of us to this theme park. So yeah, both of them get wrapped up in this whole thing to go to this gator theme park. She ends up having, Dulcie ends up having to sit through this gator theme park thing, and Kath seems to be very happy doing what she's doing. I think Kath really likes helping people in any way that she can, and I think she likes being around people. So people pleaser, people person, and so she seems to really be enjoying herself. But yeah, they get stuck there, and then pretty boy Luke Hemsworth, I think he's actually Jason Wade, but the character is played by Luke Hemsworth, and he's a pretty boy who's starred in a variety of TV productions. It sounds mostly like online streaming kinds of things, stuff like that. But he's also just it doesn't matter. he is a piece of work. And no, I don't want to go that far out. Okay, so hold on. What was it? Oh gosh. Oh yeah, and then as he finally actually starts to talk about something that Dulcie actually wants to know, rather than being a freaking self-entitled, just glorified idiot who thinks he's the best thing in the fucking world or whatever, he finally starts talking about this money that he came along. And the money apparently was because he wanted this big gator, and so he was gonna pay like $300,000 for it. And yeah, that was crazy. Anyway, then we see Eddie. We see another scene where Eddie is being chased by that fucking drone again. And Eddie's like, I'm gonna go follow it because I gotta get it knows things. It knows things. It has information. And I'm like, it doesn't really have information, but whoever's running it probably does. Like I said, it didn't even occur to me that the freaking drone might actually have physical files on it. I thought it would have like a camera on it, and there would be a link to the camera wherever the person is that's running the drone. But no, it did have actual files on it, which actually helped them out. Unfortunately, hold on a minute. Yeah, unfortunately, this freaking Jason Wade, I think his whole team is in on something, and he freaking traps Dulcie in some place. It looks like somebody in his, it looks to me, what it looked like is like he sent her on out the door. He was intentionally not answering questions. He was acting like he wasn't paying attention, but I think he was intentionally not answering questions. Sends her out the door, closes the door, and then you see this freaking crocodile and this other person up behind her that looks like he's going to attack her. So I think this whole thing was like a setup by the team. And on the drone, Eddie finds out that they capture this image of the area where it wasn't where that separate house or whatever was that the guy was staying, but it was like on the docks. It was like some building on the docks, and so he goes to that building, and so I think this whole thing is connected, and I think it is this team from this crocodile theme park. I think they're the ones, like, Eddie gets up to the place, gets in this building or truck or whatever it was, and there's all these fucking dead gators in there, and somebody closes the door behind him right around the same time that Dulcie is getting trapped by fucking Helmsworth and attacked by whoever it is. But it did look to me like whoever was with her that looked like they were going to attack from behind. It looked like Dulcie moved out of the way just in time for the gator to possibly attack that person. So I don't think I think Dulcie is going to be okay, and I don't know if the guy or girl or whoever it is that was behind her gets attacked, but I'm hoping. I'll keep my fingers crossed that they do get attacked. Is that it? I think that was it on there for kind of like most of the things that happen in the story. I wrote something on here. It says another clip. Oh, I'm supposed to play another clip. Okay, so I'm going to play a second clip. Usually I am not going to have 2 clips because there is not really a lot available for me to show you here. But today I'm going to play 2 clips. So I'm going to show you another clip, and then I'll go through my VIP, my piece of shit favorite scene, and my favorite scene. So let's go ahead and start it. Oh yeah, I should mute my...
Expect to be overwhelmed with his audacity.
G'day, g'day. G'day, g'day.
Fans can expect a woman with so much red dirt under her nails, it'll never be scrubbed out.
Hands and feet inside the boat at all times. Any questions?
An investigative journalist who's probably like a little bit too keen to be helpful.
Hi. Oh my God, Leo.
Sorry.
What you can expect from me this season is someone that is a little bit entitled, and you might find that sometimes I'm a little testy.
That's enough, DJ. Shut up.
What?
Hey.
Put my mic back on. All right. So, I wish, you know what, I think next time what I'll do is make sure I have my earbuds on. I can play, I can have the sound from the earbuds going into there and playing for me, but it shouldn't interfere with the mic, so the mic won't be picking it up. So you'll be able to hear me and be able to hear what I'm playing. I'll just have to set it up next time. Okay, so VIP of the scene was the drone that had the footage that helped Eddie figure out some of the things. Granted, Eddie is now trapped in that freaking freezer truck or whatever it is, but it did seem to have some helpful information. even if it was a trap. So that's my VIP. My VIP for the episode is the drone that has been chasing Eddie around all this time, has like clips and stuff on there that turned out to be helpful. And I mean, it would have been nice to see more of the stuff that was in there, because it did show quite a few photos on that drive. So anyway, the piece of shit of the episode, the whole crocodile theme park team, like everybody that was involved in it, because it looked like there was multiple people involved. You had the gator that was dressed up. He definitely seemed to be dragging somebody on that video footage. You have the Helmsworth guy, Jason Wade. You have him intentionally doing shit that is shady, and then what to me appeared to be trapping Dulcie in that room with somebody from their team. I'm pretty sure it's somebody from their team, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I strongly suspect that somebody in that team is the reason that Eddie got trapped in that freezer truck or whatever it was. So yeah, that whole team. Plus, even if a bunch of the people that worked there were not involved, like they were so freaking tone deaf, not paying any goddamn attention to what the people there were actually saying and asking. Dulcie is intentionally asking for certain things, and they're not paying any attention to that. They're just automatically sending her to some place. Like they don't even know that that's necessarily what she wants to do or where she wants to go. They automatically send her there. She tries to explain that she's a cop. They don't fucking listen. Like when she first gets there, she tells them she's a cop and she's trying to get questions answered, and the lady fucking makes her buy a ticket. Like all of that is really freaking unprofessional, and you're supposed to actually be some sort of customer service, and you are not servicing your customers. You're being tone deaf and not paying any attention to what they want. So yeah, that whole team to me was the biggest piece of shit on the episode. Just saying. All right, my favorite scene. Ooh, I didn't write a favorite scene. I didn't write down a favorite scene. Okay, let's get to the worst favorite scene, and I will try to think of something for the favorite scene. Worst favorite scene, freaking Jason Wade being superficial about how, oh, his wife is so gorgeous and beautiful, and why would he ever want anything to do with this other person? Because if you've seen my wife, then you obviously would know. But I would never freaking even look at somebody like that, and then just making rude freaking comments and noises and gestures. So yeah, that was my least favorite scene, when he was going on and on about his pretty wife and how he never freaking whatever. He's just such a superficial ass. So now I have to think of a favorite scene. Let me see. I'm surprised I didn't write it down. I think because I was running out of time. I was trying to do one thing with my editor and trying to get all my notes together on this episode, and I just completely forgot about getting a favorite scene in there. Let's see. Maybe when Eddie found out that it was not Triple X that got got killed, that was the gator with the arm in his mouth. Unfortunately, after that last scene though, I'm thinking that Triple X probably is dead, but at least that like gave him a short little bit of hope. So anyway, what time is it? Because I gotta get ready to get my kid to their next class, and it's a long class, all the way like 45 minutes away from here. So I gotta get ready to take them. I usually stay out there and have dinner out where they're their school is, or near where their school is. So it's quite long. But I won't get back until late tonight, which is a big part of the reason that I don't usually do any of this stuff on Mondays, because right now this term their most involved class day is Mondays, and I'm the one that takes them there and picks them up. So anyway, that is all I've got for you for right now. I know it is a Monday, and I did not intend on doing these on Mondays, but I was camping this weekend, so I couldn't do it on Sunday when I was supposed to. This Sunday, I will have episode 3 ready, though. So, the Sunday that just ended, that one I was camping on, so I couldn't do it. This coming Sunday, I will be ready for episode 3. So, I will see you when I see you.